All right, I think I'm streaming. And I see what's on screen. Can you show me camera? And I got camera. So all I need to know is if I get sound. There you go. Oh, I didn't. Well, you might want to double check the USB codec for both these. I lost it. Video feedback. Okay, gotcha. Well, no, because all Zoom is going to look like is either iMac or what you've already got on screen. So okay.
this is only a test. If this had been an actual emergency, you would have been instructed where to tune. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's on speaker. The 1, 2. It was higher yesterday. Maybe it turned the input down. Because you're looking at output devices, right? Oh, now if I'm getting something back. 1, 2. Oh, okay. I'm only transmitting, huh? 1, 2, 1, 2. Check, check. 1, 2. Check, check. That's not an X2. It's straight out of the board. It's it's an Allen and Heath. I've actually no. I've got the aux sends wide open. Let's see. 1, 2. What I could do is bring the main down a little bit and push these farther up. How's that? 1, 2. Check. That should have brought you up about 6 to 10. 1, 2. 1, 2. Well, it depends on how strong they talk. The input levels set wide open. Manage sound devices. Wait a minute. Input. Okay. That's all you get? Huh. Usually you can get the properties. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, there. Let's see. No, not master volume. 1, 2. Oh, app volume device preferences, maybe. There you go. Yeah, we had to crank it. I had it cranked yesterday. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. This is only a test. If this had been an actual emergency, nobody would have cared. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Playback. Playback. Playback.
It's safe to say your home is the cleanest it's ever been. We've been working hard, taking care of our housekeeping too. It's safe to
This is only a test. Check 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Does that give you more or less than before? Okay, let me try this then. Is that more? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we'll stick with that.
The media, they do it. Everything.
There you go.
And a hush fell over the crowd. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the 2021 Midwest Transit Conference and welcome to Missouri. My name is Mark Mamert and I am the president of the Missouri Public Transit Association. And in my day job, I am the director of Transit for JeffTran in Jefferson City, Missouri. So welcome to St. Louis. We hope you enjoy your visit over the next 2 days. So first things first, as we heard yesterday, we are working in unprecedented times, and thanks to you all for joining us. And in the virtual one-day conference world as well, we have taken special care to ensure that there are protocols in place over the next 2 days to ensure the safety of all participants, including the following: masks are required, social distancing where possible, sign-ins for every workshop event. For contract tracing, please take a moment to sign the sheets on your table before you leave. Mobile workshops for every time slot for those who prefer to be out of the building. And receptions will have an outdoor component for those who prefer to be outside. We have a special thanks also to our conference committee, folks who have worked very hard on this event, including Janine Clampett, Chance Gallagher, Cindy Baker, Dorothy Yeager, and the Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri Transit Associations, whose staff have worked tirelessly to ensure this program is worthwhile for all participants while keeping our members and friends safe. Over the next 2 days, you will have the opportunity to help shape policy, develop networks, and collaborate to share knowledge and create new ideas for transit in the Midwest, especially in light of the challenging times we are experiencing with COVID-19. I want to thank our sponsors this year. Platinum sponsor is Bi-State Development, Southern Bus and Mobility, and WSP. Silver, Citizens for Modern Transit, Gillig, Route Match by Uber, and Transloc. Bronze sponsors include Angel Tracks, Aero Global, CWI Digital Systems, Commute with Enterprise, Olson, Proterra, and Kita Technologies. A special thanks to our host provider, Bi-State Development. Also, as a reminder, we are offering ample opportunities for you to meet with our exhibitors, and they are the ones who make this possible. Please make it a point to stop by all throughout the day and meet with our exhibitors on site, see and feel the products, and hopefully make a good connection for your organizations. Welcome to the conference. Let's take a moment to hear from Southern Bus and Mobility President Tom Gertis as one of our platinum sponsors. Tom.
Thank you, Mark. Greatly appreciate it. My name is Tom Gertis. I'm the owner of Southern Bus and Mobility. We are a bus and mobility equipment dealer. We sell all different types of buses like you operate. We have mobility vans like you operate, and we also have a personal mobility sector of our business for individuals that need vehicles for family members, et cetera. But nevertheless, we are celebrating this year our 25th year in business. We two locations. We have one in Illinois. We have one in Missouri. We'd like to hopefully do business with all you someday. So any opportunity would be greatly appreciated. But other than that, and most importantly, I would really appreciate y'all stopping by our booth. If you go to the exhibit hall, we're the only ones that have a vehicle on in display there. And it is a white minivan with a reentry ramp on it. And I'm telling you, until you see the van operate, you really don't know the benefits of it. It's a vehicle that we sell more of any other product that we have. People absolutely love it because of ease of getting people in and out. So please stop by our booth whenever you get a chance, and I or some of our other people will be there to demo the vehicle to you, and we'll show it to you and show you the benefits of this particular van. But other than that, thank you all for coming here. We're looking forward to see you later. Bye.
Thank you, Tom and Southern Bus and Mobility for joining us as a platinum sponsor. Next up, I would like to welcome our host transit provider, Bi-State Development, Metro Transit CEO and President Talby Roach. As the president, Roach oversees an organization that is a catalyst for economic growth and development in the St. Louis metro area, with 5 diverse business enterprises, more than 2,500 employees, an operational budget of $369 million, 3-year capital budget of over $726 million. Bi-State Development is able to achieve its mission of improving lives in the bi-state area by delivering innovative, regional economic initiatives and public services through its enterprises. Metro Transit, Gateway Arch Riverfront, St. Louis Downtown Airport, St. Louis Regional Freightway, and the Bi-State Development Research Institute. In addition, Talby was just elected treasurer of the Missouri Public Transit Association. Talby, congrats and thank you. Welcome.
Good morning, everybody. So what a great day in St. Louis. I got to thanks Mark so much. Mark failed to mention that he is the outgoing president of the MPTA. So Mark, of course, thank you. And it's one of those jobs, you know, we've all had some of those jobs where, look, you got to grind it out sometimes. We're trying to make that policy and we're trying to do things differently. And that's part of what I want to talk about today. I want to talk, you know, I talk in stories. And why do I talk in stories? I talk in stories because stories give us insight to policy and insight to humanity, right? So I'm even going to start completely away from transit. I'm not even going to talk about transit right off the bat. So one of the strengths that I have is I've been married 30 years and I have this wonderful woman who has decided to be married to me, but she pushes me. And that's what your staffs do. That's what good folks do. They push you to do better. And I will tell you, for our anniversary, this was some time ago, she wanted to go to Morocco, of all places. And I'm like, oh my God, can we just go to Paris or something like normal people? Nope, we went to Morocco. It was a fabulous trip. But one thing I want to tell you is that we went in an incredible trip in the desert, okay? And one of the things is the insights that you get when you get into a new environment. And there's people there, they're named the Berbers. And the Berbers are the native people who've lived there the same way. They live the same way today that they've been living for thousands of years. They're essentially shepherds, okay? And one of the Berbers, they have no clocks, no calendars, nothing like that. And of course, that's very foreign to you and I, right? We live in schedules. We live in schedules with buses and so on. And I remember I was talking to the Berber guide, and I was just trying to get an understanding, and he's married and he has all these kids. I was like, well, how did you meet your wife? And he's like, oh, we have a wonderful festival, Mr. Talby, he calls me Mr. Talby. And we meet up in the spring and everyone meets and you pick a wife there and she picks you. And I was like, okay, but if you have no calendar and no clock, how do you know how to get there? Okay. And he looked at me like I was an idiot. And he said, the sheep know. The sheep know how to get there, right? And what that told me is that there are signs and parts of the world around us that are always telling us these things. As our world literally changes around our feet, as it has in this past year, we need to change how our systems work. Our cities are changing, our towns are changing. How do we change the fabric of transit? We need to look for those signs. We need to know whether the sheep know, right? We need to know, are there some changes to our fundamental policies that will change the cities that we love and live in? So, of course, as mentioned, that's a mouthful, and thank you for the introduction, but I have the pleasure of running bi-state development, but we're here to talk about transit right now. You'll see some of our other business entities. Hopefully tonight you'll be at the lovely Arch, but we have Metrobus, Metrolink, and Coloride. These are essentially the fundamental pieces of how we run a transit service. And of course, these services have changed over the years. One of the things that I want to point to as we get through this presentation is, yes, right now we're concentrating on the fundamental, the meat and potatoes, the vehicles, right? I have 46 miles of rail in Missouri and Illinois. I have 65 fixed routes in Metrobus. I have 125 wheelchair lift equipped buses, and those are the fundamentals. But what do they mean? They're all there to serve people, okay? Remember, 60% of our operating budget, 60% of mine is in labor. And what does it tell us? We are in a service business. This is about service. And how can we profoundly change the everyday lives of individuals? And it's really in the service that we deliver. We should think of how do we change that service as we go on and enhance, hopefully, the lives of the individuals in the cities and the towns that we have. And these are one of these individuals, right? So I'm a silver linings kind of guy, right? I'm a cup half full. So what's maybe the one silver lining that we have in looking at and overcoming a global pandemic? And that is maybe for the first time when I've gone to a city council, when I've gone to even my own board of commissioners, they've asked me about these folks, right? About the real heroes of the pandemic who still woke up at 4:30 in the morning and ran shifts for us, who right now are working double overs to get our service out. You know, it's the first time where I think people have had that realization and have thought of maintaining a safe and reliable system, and what are the people not only who operate it, but also the people that we are providing service for. So, of course, we've done all of the normal things, and luckily you all have been there. We have a monthly conference call, which I've enjoyed with our MPTA partners, where we've talked and really even kind of cried on each other's shoulders about figuring out how are we going to make it. And, you know, I think we'll find that several of these things are very effective. Some are less effective. We don't know. We're going to try it all. But what we're going to tell our funders is that we've done everything we can. We're going to tell our operators that we're going to try every measure to make them safe, because that's how we attract people back to our systems. That's how we change the nature of our frontline customer service.
It's safe to say your home is the cleanest it's ever been. We've been working hard, taking care of our housekeeping too. As you come out from your homes, you are going to see us differently. Not only do our buses, trains, and vans look cooler, they're even cleaner and safer too. We are happy to see you again from the driver's seat. Metro Transit is here to safely get you to where you want to go.
Wow, isn't that great? I just love to, so I don't want you to have me reading a PowerPoint. Who wants to see that, especially in today's Zoom world? I mean, and I'm so glad to be out of that. Gosh, some of you I've known for 14, 16 months only on Zoom, and I'm really glad to meet you. Some of you are taller actually than I envisioned, so kind of an interesting thing. So, and you know, I do miss seeing your cats and your bookcases and, you know, the plants that are strategically put in the background. But it is about, remember, what are those, but think of that. Think of that environment that we are now relating to one another. Why is it that when you're watching someone on Zoom, you are even paying attention to that bookcase? You're interested in what is the empathy and how do you understand that person as who they are? Believe it or not, that's kind of the business that we run. Concentrating on everybody's humanity and how we can serve that is a critical component to success. One of the things that we have really tried to do at Metro is concentrate on that humanity, that frontline customer service, okay? What are we doing to go beyond, not just do the fundamentals, but go beyond? Look, I'm a president and CEO, so look, I have one of these jokes that I like to tell my HR and my IT people. I always tell HR, well, you know, everybody hates everybody in IT, right? And I tell my IT people, hey, you know, everybody really hates HR, right? And I use that to kind of pit them against each other in a joke, of course. But look, you know what happens typically when I see an HR file, it's not typically a pretty one, right? I have nearly 1,800 operators who are out there running service right now. So bad things happen on our system, right? But good things also happen. And that's what I'm here to talk about a little bit this morning. So this is Nick. Nick is a Metro bus operator. And look, we run service in an urban environment, so they see difficult things. So this is a picture of me and one of my commissioners, actually vice chair at the time, Justin Zimmerman from Illinois, and we're giving Nick a proclamation. So why is that? We're giving Nick a proclamation because when he ran his route in East St. Louis at 8 in the morning, he was moving his bus along and he looks to the right, and what did he see? He saw a 3-year-old boy in nothing but a diaper. That was it. It's by the side of the road. Okay. So what do you want your employees to do? I want them to do what Nick did. Nick stopped his bus. He brought that boy onto his bus. He shared his lunch with them. He called OCC. He talked to him. He read stories to him. He gave him his cell phone. He let him play, right? And that's the fundamental service that we ask our people to do every day. And this is the inspiration. I will tell you, I got a little even choked up when we had Nick there, and so did Justin. I could tell because Justin's a dad, and of course Nick has 4 kids and he looked at me and I was like, Nick, thank you so much. And I'm giving him the presentation. I'm thinking, oh, this is great. I show up in my suit and so on. And he just looked at me and he said, Mr. Roach, I love my job. I love doing my job every day. And this was one moment where I really got to tell my kids what I do. And it was a wonderful moment. And I'm telling you, we have people out doing this kind of job every single day. That's what you all are representing the Knicks of this world. Okay? And I'm very proud to do that. So what's really neat about transit is embedded into our cities. As you see, I always just like this shot because very interestingly enough, that is the largest gas station sign in the world. All right, well known in St. Louis, but it's just kind of an iconic shot. And you can see we all have pictures like that. And of course, you can see one of our great Metro buses right there. But our cities are changing, and we need to think of how are we changing along with them in the fundamental service design, right? One of the things that's happening in St. Louis, and let me ask you to think of your individual city, right? So let me ask you, where was the last new high school built in your town? All right, don't say it out loud. Right, I don't care if you do. Think of where the last new high school was, right? I would challenge, for instance, for us, it's not in our downtown environment, right? It's different. So one of the things that we're seeing economically is we're seeing a diffusion of how our economic influence is in a city like ours, in a tier 2 Midwestern city. And it's more difficult to run transit in that environment. So as an example, on Metrolink, when we did the original ridership study, our #1 station should be 8th and Pine, right? Of course, you have all these large office buildings, you have all that kind of centrality of a downtown area. But of course, that's not what's happening. Our #1 station is actually out at Central West End. Okay, and it's at Central West End because it has a different locus of economic influence. Okay, one of the stories that I like to tell is I typically take the blue line in the morning. Okay, so the blue line is Skinker Station is my home station. So the blue line goes out to St. Louis County. Okay, and so what's really interesting and what I like to say to folks out in the county is not when I get on that line at 6:30 in the morning, it's really interesting to see who's on the opposite side of the track. And so let me give you some context. On the opposite side of the track at 6:30 and 7 in the morning, right? Those are folks who live in the city who are going to the county, also known as a reverse commute. Typically, I see almost a seated load there. Okay, so what does that tell you? It tells you that those very jobs, that economic center of our greater St. Louis area has changed, and it has changed underneath our feet. And we need to be cognizant of how we are adapting to that change. This is a picture of one of those changes, right? And I love showing this picture. Why? Because yes, here we are, a little Midwestern sleepy town, St. Louis, Missouri. But I wish I could make that one. See that little nice box, that colored box, red, green, yellow, and blue? What does it say next to it? Microsoft, right? And Microsoft is the future. Right? Everybody has something that has Microsoft, probably in your, whoops, sorry. So I have it in my phone. Microsoft is what is the new future that we're going to see in electronics. That's how we are doing business. And so how did we attract a business like Microsoft in an innovative core district? Well, we did it partially by offering transit and interesting urban experiences, okay? And we've had some success with that in the West End. And this is, we used to have 37 stations. This was a station that was actually added to the original line. So this is our 38th station. And you see our light rail vehicle. Really interesting, within 1 mile radius, walk radius of this station, we've had almost 7,000 new rental apartment units. The area is literally exploding, okay? One of the reasons why this station is in, because our #1 station is the next station, Central West End. So we could, as many patrons that we can push to the secondary station, that's good. Of course, remember when we run this fundamental density, when we run density in the Central West End, and I pull up to that on my way home now, and I pull up to that platform in the Central West End, and I see that platform, and it is filled with the people that we want to keep in our city. It's filled with millennials, young people of all diversities and backgrounds, all diversities of economic diversity, of racial diversity. It includes the folks who are cleaning the floors, and it includes the researchers. All of them are there, all taking transit. That's the ideal environment and the one that we want to build in. So one of the things that's very interesting about my business is, and I love to throw this in, is because we have a two-state system. It adds inevitable complications. It adds complications with managing, Missouri and Illinois, and we're unique in that. We have multiple constituencies that we have to react to. But that means that we just have to be better at our game. We have to be on top of making the adjustments and being sure that we have everybody who works together. Okay, there we go. And of course, we've had a history. We've had a history when we've had difficulty with folks working together. They call us, for instance, the gateway to the West, because we were the bridge to finding in St. Louis and finding new opportunities and new things to do. I hope that that's what we can be as a transit system. So one of the things that, of course, we need to think about as we move into this new era. So I almost freaked all of my AV, my communication staff out because I wanted to add a slide at about, 15 minutes ago, right? They didn't want me to do that. But I see this opportunity in front of us. What is the opportunity? The opportunity of the pandemic. We're all seeing tremendous capital that is going to flow our way. As a matter of fact, it was just announced, got an email about it, $2.2 billion funding for transit, right? What are we going to do with that? What are we going to do in this opportunity as we remake our system? So my point is we need to remake our system to the city that we want to be, to the town we want to be. Bring a higher level of customer service, replace some of that rolling stock, do the new technology, actually offer Wi-Fi on transit. Oh my gosh, my head just exploded. But I would love to do that, right? Because it isn't just our base customers. I am challenged. Look, ridership is down. There's no question. We're down 50% in ridership. Okay. So my board and my councils, they're all turning to me and they're saying, Talby Roach, how are you going to get that 50% back? This is how. We need to change who we are. We need to think of new ideas like electric buses, right? This is our 60-foot new flyer, all electric bus, manufactured in Alabama of all places, right? And we have 14 of these that will be on our #1 bus line, the 70 grand. And so these are on street right now. Now I get asked this all the time. People are you nervous about these new electric buses? Yes, I'm very nervous about it. I'm nervous about what happens when it's 101 degrees, right? And we're running air conditioning all day. I'm nervous about when it's 10 degrees and we're running electric heat. But you have to take a risk sometimes. You need to look at things in a new way. And this is part of Metro looking at things in a new way. Hey, isn't that fabulous? Not only do we have new flyers, but we have, of course, Gillick. Gillick is one of the fundamental pieces of what we have done as a transit agency to be very, very successful. We have almost a homogeneous fleet with Gillick, a very successful relationship. And that first electric bus is a Gillick. The second and third, of course, are the 60-foot new flyers. But we're going to use all of those in different pieces of the system and see how they work. Remember, changing who we are, changing what is the curb appeal to the public, okay? Telling people that we're doing things differently. We're doing things differently in St. Louis. I challenge you to look at doing things differently in your place. Now, why is this important? You all probably don't realize why this is really important. As I showed you the slide before, I'm running a transit system that's in 2 different states. One of the biggest challenges to the St. Louis region, and it's been well documented, is we have like 900 municipalities. It's not 900, it's like 90. It's a big one. And so we're always challenged by that segmentation. We're challenged by these different governments. It's hard to get them to work together. Okay. And that was one of my challenges when I walked into this job. Okay. I'm going to be almost 2.5 years at this job. And this is my biggest success. This is your biggest success, Talby? A few, guys shaking hands and doing, no, this is my biggest success. Why? Because of those different uniforms. Why? City of St. Louis, County of St. Clair, County of St. Louis County. And of course, Kevin Scott, the good-looking bald man in the middle, he's my guy, right? And of course, that's a TSS, a Transit Service Specialist. So what does that tell my community? Okay, it tells my community that we're capable of working together, that we're capable of coalescing and bringing professional policing to our transit service, making it safer. What did the public challenge me to do when I first walked in? Well, they wanted to stop the finger pointing. Okay, they wanted folks to work together. That's a reasonable request in my estimation. And so one of the things that we did that I really encourage you to look at when you're looking at how we're trying to do things differently is a professional, comprehensive, layered security program. Don't you love that, Kevin, when I use your words? Layered security program that includes the different uniforms. Now, why does this matter to the public? Why does it matter to the public? It matters to the public because when they're on a train or a bus, they see the uniform of the officer who lives down the street. And it is about community. I like to say that transit is a community. It's a moving community. It's a moving community that moves through different neighborhoods, but we need to think of it as our own neighborhood that has actors that we would be familiar and comfortable with. That's how we're going to change things as far as safety and security, right? We're going to see people who are on our system who are happy, okay? Who are going to work, who are comfortable, right? I don't want them just to feel safe. I want folks to feel comfortable. I want them to open a book and read it when they're on their way to work, okay? I want them to check their emails, okay? You do that when you're comfortable on a system, and you feel comfortable when you see the uniforms that you are familiar with, okay?
It's imperative that we work together as one team, unified. That also should equate out to the community because this is a regional asset, but we're all one team trying to make this system work regionally for our area.
People want to know. They want to know that we've built a comprehensive program that is industry best practices and that we're doing all that we can do to provide a safe and comfortable ride on the system. 2018, we engaged in an assessment with a firm called WSP. And so what that process has done is it has made us better. It has built us. It is a blueprint to build us out into a comprehensive, holistic industry best practices program. It really did provide us with a plan to build on for the future for the system.
The safety components are already in place, and what they do is they complement the police components. And that is the best practices that WSP set forward for us. I know we have challenges with the perception of Metrolink, but when I come across individuals that say they don't feel comfortable, I challenge them to actually come on the system to experience it and see what it's all about now. They find a safe environment, a friendly environment, regardless of what uniform that we're wearing. They feel comfortable, they feel safe, and they feel secure. With the success of the Metrolink, our region will flourish.
Oh my gosh, so I'm sorry, but that really excites me, okay? Because I remember very early, that shows those two uniforms of those officers and what a tremendous leader I have in Captain Melissa Webb. You know, what a compelling figure she is and the same person who lives down the street from you, that you can understand and empathize with, who thinks of policing in a different way, thinks of it in a community where, we are providing a service. And I remember very early, I challenged my team. As a matter of fact, I think I drove poor Ted Zimmerman crazy here, because when I found out that they were doing a dual patrol, so different uniforms, right? Remember, folks, so context, this is like having the Hatfields and McCoys, right? Having Christmas dinner together and getting together traditionally on a dual patrol. But that's what we do every day on Metrolink right now. We have those uniforms, people working together. And I drove Ted crazy because I said, get somebody out there and take a picture of those two uniforms right now, because these visual pieces are important to the public. They want to see that we're trying, okay? They'll understand we won't get everything right, okay? Remember, I tell staff this all the time. I want a 90% solution, okay? Because I know we won't get the 10%, but 90% is pretty good. I still get an A with the 90, at least on my curve. I still get an A with 90%. So I always want to try to, oh, I blew it. All right. So I'm sorry, I'm not as good, but okay, try not to look at the picture on that side. Oh my gosh. So this was going to be impactful, and I was really going to hit you with this one. But so we serve people, right? We serve people and people of need today, and we'll have people of need tomorrow in 5 years. We'll have people of need in 10 years, okay? That is a fundamental component of our system. Let's not forget that. Let's remember, how do we serve these people, right? That picture on the left is one of my favorite pictures ever in the transit industry. Why? Well, let me just read you this story, right? So we get a call from the Rock Road of a disabled man who somehow shows up without his wheelchair, okay? It's raining that day. He's literally dragging himself on and off onto the LRV, right? I know you guys have seen these type of folks who have shown up in our system. Still our job to serve them, right? And so, of course, we get Officer Sky Clemens was at the Central West End station where he was, and she was notified of this passenger, and she went to serve him, right? She helped him off the train, and by this time, he's wet all the way down. He's transferring to a bus. He has a long walk, about 500 feet to transfer to his bus, right? This is right before Thanksgiving. I'll never forget it, okay? And that's what Sky did. She took that disabled customer and put him on her back, right? I remember I sent this picture to my family, okay? I sent that picture to my board of commissioners, right? Right before Thanksgiving. And I had the pleasure to meet Sky after Thanksgiving. And I said, Sky, you're more popular to my family than I am, okay? They like you way better than me. Why? Because this is what we do, folks. This is what we do. Our front door is our service, is our ability to go beyond, our ability to be a Sky Clemens, all right? Our ability to be a Nick who gets out of his bus and serves the public. We have our employees who are out serving the public right now. Our job is to understand that and translate that to our boards, our board of commissioners, and fight for the money we need to run the service. This service is about empathy and understanding and humanity, getting people to healthcare appointments, to their jobs, to those fundamentals. Look, folks, I believe in this mission. I hope you understand that by my passion. I love coming at 8 in the morning and talking to a bunch of transit nerds. My wife, she says, you are the biggest transit nerd in the world. I am, that is correct. I dragged her out to Chicago and we took the L to go look at sculpture of all things, right? She has to put up with that. But that's because I believe in what we do. I think that you all believe in what we do too, and believe in what you do in your individual towns. We can make a difference. We can be Sky. So anyway, I do have to go through some of the technicals. So how do we make a difference a little bit? Well, we do long-range planning. So you guys will have some of the pleasure of seeing some of my fabulous group of professionals who allow the Sky Clements, who allow, for instance, those security professionals to do their job. Dale Schaefer, Chief Mechanical Engineer. Now, he's going to talk about electric buses, but ask Dale about something that we have. We have million-mile buses, folks. We have buses that we have run 1 million miles. And we don't just have one, we have two, I think we have three now, okay? And so the Dale Schaefers that you'll be able to talk to, top flight professionals, please talk to them. Ask them hard questions, okay? This is how we make a difference in our communities, is that we share information, we figure out who we are, what are the details that we need to take care of. Please do that today. So right along with transit public safety, Kevin Scott is here, Andrew Giassi, top flight security and safety folks. Go on that ride along. Talk to Vernon Summers. Talk to my director of field security. They're going to talk about how they interact with people. Okay, they're not going to talk about their utility belts. They're going to talk about this. Okay, that's how we're going to make a difference in the transit community. Okay. Oh, there we are, making it to 1 million miles. How do we do that? We have good partners with Cummins, with Gillig. You have good partnerships with people like a Tom Gertis, who run a family business dedicated to providing us with top flight equipment. Those are good things. Hear from our experts today. So I want to leave it on a high note, right? So, hey, this was really a fun thing that happened. So believe it or not, as you look around here, we had a wayward black bear in the city of St. Louis, right? Can you believe it? And he was, I think this was part of COVID, and everybody was, hiding in their houses, and everybody was, it was like wildfire. Everybody wanted to know where the bear was, right? And so, sure enough, I challenged my media team to put the bear on Metrolink, right? Which they did. That's not actually him, believe it or not. So they put him on Metrolink. Why? Why did they do that? Because we want to be the solution to those transportation problems. I'm going to leave you with a little bit of nerdy transit speak. The Bureau of Labor Statistics always keeps us statistics about where folks spend their money, the average person spend their money. Who knows what number one is? What's number one? Everybody knows what number one is. Housing. That's right. It's always housing. It's always where you live. 2 and 3. Food, transportation, right? Top 3. Transportation is always there. Transportation, whether you take our system, whether you have a car, everyone needs that. Everybody talks about housing, right? But just move down that list about everybody's every day. Everybody's every day includes transportation. Okay, we know that it's a statistical reality, whether you're in St. Louis, whether you're in Springfield, whether you're in Kansas City, whether you're in St. Joseph, everybody needs transportation. And that's what we do. We are in the transportation business. We're in the transportation business when it comes to the humanity, right? And here I am showing a bear, okay? But that's what we do. Yep, I'm doing pretty good on time, yes. So I'm always in my board meetings, and let me just recommend this. I have a huge clock at the back of the room. I'm constantly looking at it. It helps. So I don't have my clock to rely on. But hey, have some fun, right? Enjoy St. Louis, right? My wife pushes me. She says I'm way too serious. Whenever she tells me I'm too serious, I show her this picture, right? And this was another really fun picture. Why? Because, hey, one of the things, so an interesting thing about St. Louis, to talk about the economic diffusion, just very quickly, what is our real product in St. Louis these days? It's actually these educational institutions in the SLU and Washington University and for instance, UMSL and all of those high-level educational institutions. That's where our future is rooted. So we need to be sure that we provide service for all those folks, okay? For these guys. I wanted to wear at least the bear, but they wouldn't let me do that. That would have been fun. But have fun with what you're doing. I try to have fun every day. I try to think of how can I make a difference? All right. How am I changing the culture of St. Louis? How am I changing the culture of Metro Transit? What I want my folks to say and myself, I want to change the safety and security culture. I want to embed it in everything we do. Embed it in how we interact with our customers. Okay. Let them see that we are trying. We may not do everything perfectly. I'm okay with that. But I want 90%. I want 90%. Try for 100 and get 90, and we'll be okay. And so that's all I got for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Talby. Innovative stuff. Speaking of innovation, we wanted to give you an opportunity to see our platinum sponsor, Southern Bus and Mobility, their product. Please watch this video on their new product.
Hi, I am Tom Gertis with Southern Bus and Mobility.
And I am Karen Gertis. We have owned the business together for the past 25 years. This year we are marking our 25th anniversary.
At Southern Bus and Mobility, we sell, service, rent, lease, commercial buses, school buses, and we have personal mobility equipment. This is what our business consisted of in 1996. You can see it's a small building. We had total 4 employees, and this is where we are today with a brand new addition that we built in 2020.
Hello, my name is Cal Lupker, Commercial Sales Manager at Southern Bus and Mobility. Today I want to show you some of the commercial products we have to offer, starting with a lowered floor minivan all the way up to a 41 passenger bus. First off, we have a couple lower floor minivans, rear entry as well as a side entry, capable of holding up to 2 wheelchairs and 4 ambulatory passengers. We also offer a full line of Ford Transit vans, mid-roof, high roof, get option with or without bus door, get up to about 15 passengers in here with or without wheelchairs. We also have our full line of Diamond Coach buses. These buses range in size from a 20-foot long bus spanning to a 35-foot long bus and many options in between. We can get several floor plans at different capacities on these buses, ranging from 12 passengers up to 36 passengers with and without wheelchair lifts. Diamond Coach buses are constructed from a fiberglass composite that makes them resistant to rust and corrosion. We offer a full line of turtle top buses as well, ranging from 5 different models, starting with the Vantera onto the Terra Transit Light Duty, Terra Transit Medium Duty, Odyssey, and finally the Odyssey XL. Capacities range anywhere from 10 passengers to 41 passengers with and without wheelchair lifts. Here we have a turtle top Terra Transit Light Duty on the Ford Transit Cutaway chassis. Capacity can hold up to 8 passengers and 2 wheelchairs all the way up to 15 passengers. Next, we have the turtle top Terra Transit. Capacities ranging from 12 passenger, 2 wheelchair. We can get all the way up to like a 25 passenger in this one. Next, we have the turtle top Odyssey. This can be on a Chevy or Ford. Capacities range from 12 passenger, 2 wheelchair, up to 25 passenger. Lastly, we have the turtle top Odyssey XL on a Ford or Freightliner chassis. Capacities ranging up to 41 passengers.
At Southern Bus Mobility, we built our business providing good customer service. As you can see, this is our service walk-up counter. And inside here is where we have our service director, parts manager, 2 service advisors. We have a lot of parts in stock, so we have them available for when your vehicle is in here for service.
We're a one-stop shop here at Southern Bus and Mobility. We do anything from general maintenance on commercial and school buses up to engine replacements.
Thank you, Tom, for being such an innovator. We appreciate your sponsorship. Might want to put a bear on a bus sometime. Might actually work. Make sure it's not a cub, though, in St. Louis. Also, thank you, Talby, for your innovative work and leadership as well. Unfortunately, FTA Region 7 Administrator Makti Ahmad and his staff are not able to join us today. However, FTA and the Region 7 team have been working tirelessly for the past 18 months to assist transit providers across the country to have as many tools as possible as we navigate this pandemic. In Missouri, we have had the unique opportunity to meet monthly with FTA and our statewide COVID calls. I invite Executive Director of the Kansas Public Transit Association, Tuck Duncan, who will be giving Makti's remarks for him.
Thank you. It's apparent that our previous speaker just hates his job. I noticed here this morning. Greetings from Kansas. I'm Tuck Duncan, the Executive Director of the Kansas Public Transit Association. Makti is one of my neighbors. He lives in Topeka, Kansas, where I reside, and travels daily to Kansas City. And I've known him for, oh my gosh, 30, 40 years maybe. He worked at the KDOT before he became a Region 7. And I often tell people when I go to the national meetings that we've got the best regional administrator in the country, because he really does want to work with all the various transit agencies and make sure that he doesn't let perfection get in the way of possibilities. He makes sure that we get things done. I kind of like your 90% rule. I will tell my staff, oh, I'm the whole staff, that rule, but we'll try to get there. So pretend that I'm Makti. Good morning. Thank you, Kim Sella, Carl Lingen, and Tuck Duncan, the executive directors of the Transit Associations of Missouri, Iowa, and Kansas, for planning and bringing to fruition this three-state transit conference. I regret that I am not able to be with you all to attend this conference. Welcome to St. Louis. And I know, given the dedication of these Transit Association executive directors, the information that you will be sharing and discussing will be beneficial to you as you continue to provide transit services in your respective areas and adapting to the variants of this virus. Thank you, Tuck. You're welcome, for agreeing to help me deliver my speech today. I want to thank all of you for continuing to provide transit services to the public during this past year, being creative to our customers by providing zero-fare transit services to the public for vaccination events, sanitizing your vehicles, and creating social distances for the safety of your riders, working with some hostile customers and enforcing the CDC rules on the use of masks, and being creative in incentivizing your employees to get vaccinations. Thank you for your perseverance during these trying times. Please join me in giving yourselves, Region 7, this is true for the virtual folks too, systems, a rousing cheer, and thank you for your services during this pandemic of 2020 and 2021. Now, just like many of you, I am still in awe of the impact of this pandemic and the resulting paradigm shift in our business operations from face-to-face in person to virtual telecommunications using softwares like Microsoft Teams and Zoom. This paradigm shift has resulted in decrease in ridership for work trips, redesigning our office spaces, cost savings for employees, and more importantly, the employees have been able to adapt and to complete their work and keep transit open as America opens into 2022 and beyond. The Transportation Security Administration, TSA, has extended the face mask requirements between transit workers for all transportation networks, including public transportation, through January 18, 2022. Over the past several months, the Face-to-face requirement has been a source of conflict and dispute between transit workers and riders. Sadly, in some cases leading to violence. The National Transit Institute is offering several courses on multiple dates to help you address and prevent crime, as well as to protect transit workers and riders. Space is available. We will use our transit partners' email to provide the registration requirements for these courses, and I urge you to consider registering for these courses. Funding. We continue to work with you all on 3 funding sources: Coronavirus Aid, Relief and Economic Security, CARES Act of 2020. Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021. American Rescue Plan Act of 2021. There are a considerable amount of federal funding with differences on eligibility and program rules in these acts. Let me repeat that. Differences on eligibility and program rules in these acts. Please work with our Region 7 program managers, because given our experience with previous rescue plans, the use of the monies from these acts has a higher probability of being audited. A higher probability of being audited. So please pay attention on spending process rules with these acts. Lastly, there is so much information to process. I encourage you to check with our FTA website, and also please read our Dear Transit Partner announcements from Austin Barnett of our Region 7 office. We try to keep you informed with these Dear Transit Partner emails. And I want to say the flood of information has been overwhelming. Please stay safe. Have a great conference. And I hope to see you all in the coming year. Thank you for your continued service in providing public transportation in Region 7, because working together, we will be successful in our efforts to build back better our public transportation.
Thank you, Tuck, for delivering Mocktee's remarks. That is a very slick trick, thanking yourself by along the way. That's very nice. I like it.
I'm a lawyer, I'm not.
Dialogue on Capitol Hill regarding the infrastructure bill and where we go from here. We have about 23 days left until the expiration of the current infrastructure bill. So this conversation could not be more timely. We're lucky enough to have an expert with us today to provide an update. CTAA Executive Director Scott Bogren has been working with, writing about, and covering the community and public transportation industry for nearly 3 decades. I don't know how he still looks like he's 25 at 3 decades, but somehow. His experience was
an honor to be here today, and I'm so happy not to be appearing in a small little box on a computer somewhere, but actually in front of people. And indeed, it has been an amazing last year and a half when it comes to transit funding. And really, I'm going to take some time today to talk about both the funding outlook, but also the important time we're in right now, and share with you some of what we're hearing up to St. Louis and Kansas City and the biggest cities are things that will make or break what public transportation looks like and the role that we play in our communities moving forward. And it's a fluid situation. What seems perfect today, looking at data and other things, can change rapidly. I mean, just think back 2 months ago and everything was opening back up. Masks were coming off. I was arguing with the Federal Transit Administration about why they were continuing to say, and I got really angry about